On 911, everybody's favorite honeymoon spot becomes a nightmare for two women
I really had little hope that they'd be safe.
when they're caught in the raging waters of Niagara Falls.
The clock was ticking, and they didn't have much time. They were going to die.
Next, Rescue 911.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Chesterfield Emergency Service.
They're doing good hands here.
When rescuers are racing to save a life, their worst enemy is often time. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of courage and compassion on Rescue 911. We begin on August 24th, 1988, in Ontario, Canada, as friends Janelle Spain and Karen Himmel were enjoying a camping trip. Every year, millions of tourists flock to Niagara Falls, drawn by its power and spectacular views. But over the years, the falls have also claimed many lives.
It's a strange area, and unfortunately, the water going over has a special attraction to some people and lures them actually to their own deaths.
About a mile upstream, a set of control gates stretches across the Niagara, regulating the flow of water to the falls. This dam is known as the point of no return. Any boat or person caught in the powerful currents beyond it will be carried right over the falls.
Hey, hello. This is great. Yeah. Oh, hey, do you want me to take your picture?
25-year-old Janelle Spain and 23-year-old Karen Himmel were staying at a campground upriver from Niagara Falls.
We decided to bring the boat. Janelle just bought it about a week ago.
As they approached the entrance to the Niagara River, signs warned them to stay to the right. On the left were the control gates that lead to the falls and the power turbine intakes.
We were out cruising around out there, just spending the day. We shut the boat off for a while, laid out in the sun. Back in Indiana, when the sun sets, it takes maybe a half hour to 45 minutes. Here, up in Canada, it almost like drops. We didn't realize how fast the sun set. We had decided to head back. We were going to spend the evening downtown.
We just keep going
Sure, that's
straight.
it.
Yeah,
That must be it.
I was certain we were heading back to the canal, which led back into the Welland River.
Sheila and Tom Hodges were on the road that parallels the Niagara River, on their way to a movie.
I could just barely see that it was a single-engine boat. And that kind of really got my attention, you know, that I don't think anyone in their right mind would go beyond that point with just one kicker, one engine.
Oh, God, son. It appeared as if they had actually increased their speed, and then they went right over the dam. Dad, when we looked over the edge, here was the boat, upright. These two people still in the boat. How that happened, I mean, I was just astonished. I couldn't believe that they were still in the boat. They actually were turning the boat around, trying to head back up the dam. Where we were, there was very little traffic, and it was such a helpless situation.
Tom flagged down a parked tour bus.
Right at that moment, one of the girls fired the red flare into the air. And that's when he took it serious and he got on the phone.
Niagara Parks Police, this is People Mover number 8.
Go ahead.
The call came into the Niagara Parks Police Department. Officers were immediately dispatched.
Tom, hurry! Hurry!
I was shaking from head to toe, and I really had little hope that they'd be saved. And I just kept imagining what that would feel like, you know, being at the brink. And knowing you're gone.
When we continue,
Once you get below the international control gates, you're in rough water and no chance of getting out of the water before going over the falls.
Ride the razor's edge between life and death with the people who walk it every day. Trauma, Life in the ER, tonight at 7 Eastern, only on Discovery Health Channel.
Sergeant Stan Sherrar and Constable Alex Taccinelli headed to the scene.
Once you get below the international control gates, you're in rough water and there's no chance of getting out of the water before going over the falls.
It's such a helpless feeling when you don't have a rope to throw anybody. And the feeling was becoming more intense because you knew the clock was ticking and they didn't have much time.
Come on, we'll go get some.
They actually had two perils in front of them, the intakes for the turbines and the falls. Either one, they were going to die.
When the officers arrived, they spotted the two women in the rapids less than 500 yards from the falls.
We started screaming, swim, swim towards the light.
Come on, swim!
We tried to pan back and forth between the two of them, but we lost one of them. And I turned to my sergeant and said, one's gone. And we started to concentrate on the other woman. When I said that to him, I meant that one is going over the falls.
Constable Taccinelli threw Karen a rope, while Sergeant Sherrar guided her in with his flashlight.
Swim this way! Come on, come on!
And Alec and I just kept hollering, keep swimming, keep swimming. Because if she hadn't been coming over toward us, then Alec was going to go in. Because we figured we lost one already, there's no way we're going to lose the second one.
Karen had a deep gash in her leg from the boat's propeller, and she was in shock, but she was safe.
I remember being pulled up over the wall, and the police who was rescuing me, all I could see was blood down his hand. I was shaking. I was scared. They laid me down. I remember them laying me down on the ground. I yelled. I said, "Where's Chanel?" They wouldn't answer me, and I thought she went over.
Rescuers with the Niagara Falls Fire Department joined in the search for Janelle, including firefighter Bob Bevington.
She had gone on down, and I felt at this point there was no possible way she could be saved. But the captain told us to take a drive further downriver and, to see what we could see. As soon as we stopped, I could hear her screaming out there.
Firefighter Bob Carpenter was also a member of the rescue team.
At the time I spotted the victim, she was approximately 350 yards from the brink of the falls. She was crying for help and said she was totally exhausted, that she couldn't swim to me. I told her, I don't If you're tired, you're going to start swimming to me, and I don't give a if you're tired or hurt, you're going to swim to me now.
You gotta come to me now!
I had to shock her into reality. If she didn't swim back to me, we had no chance of getting her.
Swimmer, just swim! Swim to me now!
There was no way that I could possibly throw that rope far enough for her to get it. So there was only one way of doing it left. She couldn't come to us. We were going to have to go to her. I'm not a brave guy, but it looked like we had a shot, so I took it. And I remember thinking, hey, this is crazy. What are you doing? You know, your mother raised an idiot here.
Hey, take care, Pop. We're coming to get you. Keep swimming. Come on. Come on. Keep swimming. Come and meet us. We're almost there. About 20 feet.
I was really tired by this time. If I get right up to her, and if she panics and grabs onto me, didn't think I'd be able to fight her off, and she'd probably drown me.
Don't fight her! Put out your hand! Don't fight her!
I just pulled as hard as I could, but I had to slow down when we came close to the shore because the rocks would have just chewed up his back end.
Careful of rocks. Okay, you got it. You got it. Right here. All right.
And she threw her arms around me, and she just crushed me practically. And it was the most incredible feeling I have ever experienced in my life. It was a totally clean save. I mean, she wasn't injured. All she was wet. And she was alive, and it worked, and we did it, and it was fantastic.
30 seconds after Janelle was saved, her boat reached the edge of the falls. Recently, Karen and Janelle got a chance to personally thank their rescuers.
I remember you.
We need more people like him. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. He's no fool, and I don't care if somebody says, well, that's his job. No, that's not his job. He didn't need to do that.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Bob Bevington is the one who physically went in the water. But Bob Carpenter, he pushed me. He was outstanding on that megaphone. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have given up.
It's helped that we've remained friends. We've been able to deal with it together. You can talk to everybody in the world, but if they haven't been through it, they don't know what it's like. They can't feel that water. They can't feel that fear of not coming up for air. They don't know what it's like to think you're going to go over those falls and never return.
Next.
Next, step inside the command center where the calls for help are answered and meet the real-life heroes who save lives. Stay tuned for another episode of Rescue 911. Next on Discovery Health Channel. Real life, medicine, miracles.